Well, can't see your screen. Well,
Okay.
Can you see it?
Anyone else can see my screen, or you all cannot see my screen?
I can see your screen.
Okay, awesome. So for those not able to see the screen, if you can just drop off the call and come back in again, you should be able to see it.
Okay.
Yep. So for those of you who attended the session last week, is there anyone with any questions so far? Okay, so if there's no questions in this session this evening, we're looking at connecting and analyzing data within Microsoft Dynamics, and what is the business value with that data, and what you can also do yourself in terms of what job will you be doing within the whole workflow in itself. So for those of you who attended the session, the past few sessions, we also spoke about an exam voucher, right? How many of you here, if I can get in the chat window, how many of you are looking to do something like that? If I can just get some yeses and nos, there's no pressure to it. If you're looking to do the exam, it's free. I can share some links after the call. Okay, so, okay, great. We have a yes in there, which is awesome. So what I'll do is today, before the session finishes, I'm gonna share the link of where you get the free exam voucher. And I'm also gonna share a link to get you started. The more practice you have with these things, the easier it becomes. So we can have as many as possible of these sessions, but if you don't have your hands-on experience to it, talking and doing is two different things. So in this session is broken into two parts. So we're going to look at the use of the Power Platform within Dynamics 365. So Power Platform is the overriding family. Dynamics 365 is part of that family. So we have things like Power Apps, where you can do rapid development. We have Power BI, Power Automate, Power Agents. So they're called Power Virtual Agents now, Artificial Intelligence Builder, and the key benefits. So we're gonna look to discuss these items. If we still have time in the session, we'll look at the benefits of the common data service, Dataverse now. We look at the reporting side of Dynamics 365. If we do not have time for it, not to worry, we'll do that on the next session next week on Tuesday. However, what I'm looking to achieve today is to go through the first part of it, the use of the Power Platform in Dynamics 365, and also guide you in how you can actually set up your own trial environment where you can start using it for educational purposes. So we're going to look at the use of the Power Platform in Dynamics 365. So in the very first session, we spoke about integrations, how data comes together. So some of you or most of you have had Microsoft Office 365. So Microsoft Office 365, you're talking about things like your Exchange, you're talking about Microsoft Word, you're talking about Outlook. There's so many components which comes under Office 365. Then we've been focusing on Dynamics 365. And all these things, the key foundation which hold these things is Microsoft Azure. So Dynamics 365 or anything Microsoft does, the technology on the cloud is based on Microsoft Azure. So what we're looking at here is the Power Platform in itself. Power Platform in itself, if you start looking at jobs, you can be a Power App maker, you can be a functional consultant. Again, all the roles you normally know: Scrum Master, Project Manager, Business Analyst. So Business Analyst, when you come to Dynamics 365 and Power Platform, we don't refer that name anymore. We tend to go with a functional consultant. So if you start looking at jobs, you're looking at functional consultant. If you're looking for business analyst, you will tend not to find as many because that role now comes under a functional consultant. So in terms of Power BI, so in terms of Power BI, what it is a visualization reporting tool. Why is it important? So as a reporting tool, you could be a data analyst yourself. You want to help your organization to make key strategic decision in terms of looking at the numbers, what's happening in terms of products, what's happening in terms of overall performance of the organization. So you could be the person actually building this report in here. So you could be an architect for Power BI. You could be a consultant for Power BI. You could be a data analyst for Power BI. That in itself is just one focus area. So you won't need to specialize in all these at all, just this in itself. And then Power Apps. So you get to an organization, you realize they're using a lot of paper. What can you do to make it better for an organization? So again, Power Apps gives you the ability to do rapid app development. So what you can do, you can create an app within a few hours. The app is up and running. The organization has something to use. It can be short term, it can be long term. So again, all what you see here at the top here, these are the main 4 pillars of the Power Platform. Then you have Power Automate to automate business processes, making things automated, reducing manual work within an organization. So again, you can be someone working in an organization with Power Apps or Power BI. You want to automate what's happening in here. So you can leverage Power Automate. Within Power Automate, you create something called a flow. So a very typical example, you can say, okay, if someone posts something on Twitter, you want to be able to pick it up and send yourself an email. Or you can say, if they send a tweet on Twitter, you want to be able to retweet it. In some cases, some of you who use LinkedIn, who use Facebook or any social media platforms, you see people, they're constantly posting things. In some cases, they don't sit there to say, oh, I'm going to go and post this. You can basically use this to automatically post things on social media. So you can say, okay, if there's a new update on that specific website, I want to pull it up and then straight away send it. You can say, for those of you looking for jobs, you can configure this. So if you have an Office 365 license you use for your personal use, you automatically get this for free. So it allows you to automate some things, a website which advertises jobs. If a new job which meets your specific criteria is posted, send me an email. I want to see that job. So you can start saying, okay, yeah, the job is there. Again, it saves you time to go look at the jobs being posted in a day. You then have Power Virtual Agents. So Power Virtual Agents, we spoke about this on our last session, but basically you can have conversational experiences with your customers. You can have conversational experiences with other people, either within your organization. So in terms of a role here, what you can do, you can specialize in this area. And once you specialize in that area, you then build these things to start having these conversations with your customers. Again, you can build up the commonly asked questions and people can start replying to it. So these are some of the options you have with it. So the next thing with it, what you get here, it's the data connectors. So in terms of data connectors, what you have here is connecting data from Dynamics 365 to Surface here for reporting, connecting data from Power Apps into here. Power Automate, you're connecting to something. So there's something, either a data connector you're connecting to. Power Virtual Agents, again, for you, if you're looking at commonly asked questions, there's something you're connecting to. And then you start looking at artificial intelligence builder. So we spoke about reading a business card. It creates a record for you in Dynamics 365. It's things which are available, which you can use. We also spoke about Dataverse. So Dataverse is the new name. Before it was called CDS, Common Data Service. So that's where the data is stored. So again, you can see the overall connection here. So there's a lot of things to learn. You can specialize in virtually all of this. It gives you a variety of opportunities you can also go and do out there on the market. So this is very, very important to understand when we're speaking about the Power Platform. So we're going to look at Power Automate. So in here, you can straight away see you can get notifications. So in some cases, once you start using Power Automate, what you can also do is you can connect to the Telegram group to say, okay, you want to be able to know if the admin posted something. So if the admin posted something in the Telegram group, for those of you who don't have notifications on, or sometimes you get overwhelmed with lots of messages, it can send you the notification directly. Again, you're talking about Telegram here. You then start talking about other things like email. You want to be able to say, if you receive an email, either we can give an example of an organization which we know they keep sending you emails for marketing. What you can do here, you can set this up to automatically delete the email once it comes to you. So again, it saves you the whole hassle of saying, okay, I have to go through the emails and delete them. If you know there's a specific organization, they keep sending you marketing stuff, you've told them not to email you and they keep emailing you, this is your answer. You can set this up to automatically delete. So again, you can also work in terms of approvals. So in an organization, you could have a holiday booking system where people are booking holidays. In most cases, for some of us who are aware, you fill a piece of paper, you put it at your manager's desk, your manager signs it, they give you a copy to say it's been approved. In some cases, you go to the office, they tell you it's been declined, you're not happy at that moment in time. The process, instead of using paper, automated, the holiday request is sent, your manager can easily make an approval from their mobile phone, from their laptop. So these are some of the very basic use cases of Power Automate. There's so many of them. Basically, you can look at every single data set, connect to it, and fetch anything you need to fetch from there. So in terms of the Power Platform in itself, what you can see here is it reduces the time of application development. A few years back, you get developers sitting together. Sometimes it takes them 4 or 5 months. They're writing code, they're building an app. And then eventually, yeah, the app comes along. Again, with Power Automate, using this Power Platform, it gives you the ability for rapid development. So again, in some cases, the old way of developing code, if things get updated, the code doesn't work. With the Power Platform, you're developing on something which is compatible. So even if Microsoft makes updates, your app is still valid. Your app is still working. So again, you don't need to be an IT expert to be able to use this. You don't need to have a master's degree in computer science to be able to develop this. Anyone can do it. So as I said on the very first session, and to confirm it this week, we had two 10-year-old young girls from India. They've already done this Power Platform. They've created apps two twin girls are 10 years old, and as recently, they've now set the exam and they've passed. So the motivation here for you here is you can do it. There's no limits in what you can do with it. So for those of you who come either from a development background, this platform is a low code, no code platform. So you don't need to be a specialist in terms of knowing code. And at the same time, because you're using Microsoft technology, you can connect data across everything Microsoft do. And in some cases as well, things which are not Microsoft, you can connect to those things as well. So again, there's business value here. So you might be thinking, okay, this is a bit too much. Where am I going to fit in? So one of the examples here is either if you have a job right now, look at your organization. Look exactly how your organization work. In some cases, it's not a matter of you going to look for a job. In some cases, it's about creating the job for yourself within your current organization. And how do you do that? Look and see where this solution can be implemented. If you work in an organization where you're still doing Excel tables, pivot tables, start looking at how you can introduce this. Start thinking how Power Apps can help that organization. As I've always said, you can use Excel, you can use spreadsheets, but those things are not efficient because in some cases you have to go and update your formulas. Whereas this here, once you set it up, you're good to go. So in terms of Microsoft Power Apps, so what you can see in this image here, you can basically see in here, you can take an image of it, of a specific area, and then it basically attaches it. So for those of you who, for example, rent a property and the housing agency come along for an inspection, they can just basically take images of the property and it feeds it back to Power Apps. So again, you're picking up images, sending it back to a system, which then connects it to the specific property. You're talking about aeroplane companies. You book your holiday, they know you're coming, they know where you're going. In some cases, they start analyzing, are you a frequent flyer? And then in most cases, they give you an offer. A frequent flyer, this is the offer we have, is because they've analyzed the data using Power BI. They visualize this customer here, we normally see them flying. And in some cases, they're able to pick up the numbers you normally fly in. So for example, if you fly as a family, there's 2 or 3 of you, they know how many of you fly. And then that way they start making decisions. How can we get to our customers? In terms of Power Apps, another organization, for example, if you look in the banking sector, they've started using these tools now. So in terms of opportunities, there's lots of them. The key question here is you need to be hungry for it. You need to be in a position where you want to do it. If you want to do it, it's definitely possible. So in here, what you can see, you can connect to systems which are currently there within your organization, whether you're using Oracle, whether you're using Salesforce, whatever system you're using, you can connect to it. So you create your app, you choose your data source. You can say, okay, this app here sends the data to this system. So again, those are some of the benefits. You're not just limited to Microsoft technology, but it allows you to bring other systems into play. So again, what you can see in this image here, available on tablets or laptops, mobile devices. And in here, you can see the way you see things on a laptop and a mobile device is exactly the same. So basically, it unifies how the interface looks like for everybody, for any device. So you don't need to start thinking, how is it going to look on a mobile phone? Is it going to look the same for my users or for my customers? It allows you to create one app which fits all. So again, these are some of the benefits you have. And one of the things you need to start thinking about here is some of the areas you can use this. And for those of you interested, I'm going to share with you a step-by-step guide. And I can tell you, for those of you who give everything to it, the next session we have, you'll be telling me you have your own app, because this will give you a step-by-step on how to do it. So again, we talk about no code. So again, in most cases, it's basically drag and drop. And then at the same time, the app is straight away readily available. You don't need to start thinking, oh, is it gonna work or is it not gonna work? If it doesn't work or there's a problem, it tells you that there's a problem here and it tells you where the problem is. So it then becomes your responsibility as the app maker or the functional consultant to start understanding, okay, this is the issue I have. This is how I'm going to fix it. So it is very, very important for you to know, okay, this is the issue. This is how I'm going to fix it. So in here, you can see it's an example. So you have two different types of apps. You have Canvas apps, and you also have model-driven apps. So in terms of a Canvas app, it uses it is used to design and build business applications from a canvas, and whereas traditionally you use something called C#, which is a programming language, and then you have Dynamics 365, which is referred to as a model-driven app. So again, here what you're seeing is an app to do vehicle inspections. So again, you can start looking at the overview of the vehicle, inspection history. You can look at alerts. So different use case away from vehicle inspections, you could create an app as a log for your employees to log in once they start work and when they leave work. And at the same time, if they need to book holiday or if they need any training opportunities, you can start creating these things. So again, you're looking at a budget summary here. You got something on a mobile device. And again, you start looking at how an estimate can be sent. So if you can see here, submit and estimate. And again, all this connects with Power Apps. So it's quite a big opportunity in here in terms of all of us creating a career for ourselves in terms of Power Apps. And then we speak about model-driven app. So if you can see in here, you can start looking at what a model-driven app looks like. So again, can you just do this just like that? One of the things I can tell you, yes, you can spend, I would say, 2 months and you'll be ready to go start looking for a job after learning this technology. So it is used based on the data and the data model. So it is more or less a component focused approach to app development. So the design again does not require code, and the applications you make can be simple, and how complex they are, it depends on how you want them to be. So unlike Canvas apps, the development where the designer has to complete control over the app layout, the mobile driven apps, much of the layout is determined for you. So much of the layout is done for you. So that's some of the differences between a model driven app and a Canvas app. So while I'm here, do we have any questions so far? If anyone has any questions, please unmute yourself or just type something in the chat window. Okay, I guess we're still all here. Are we still all here?
Yeah, we are.
Awesome, awesome.
So which is commonly used? Is it the model-driven app that is commonly used, or the Canvas?
Okay, good question. So both of them are commonly used. Reason I say that is it depends with the business need, with the business requirement. So it depends business by business. However, most people I've seen, they tend to like the Canvas apps because you have control over the layout. You have control in some of the things you can do with it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So we then look at Power Apps portals. So in some cases, your organization want to interact with external people. So external people, they cannot log in into your normal Dynamics 365 environment. So here you can create a new experience, which is external facing, an external facing website, which allows outside users from your organizations to sign in, and they can create data. So in some cases, a very good example here, you could go to your website, book a holiday. That could be a portal which can be used in that instance. Or in some cases in your organization, you can log in to your website while you're at your house. You start looking at your timesheets, your pay slips. That data could be coming from Dynamics 365 using Dataverse, and you're just basically interfacing with the website, which is feeding data in the background system. So again, that's another use case for it. The next thing here we're going to look at is Power BI overview. So in terms of Power BI in itself, it is a self-service platform. Anyone who has a Power BI license in your organization is able to interact. So in this example here, you can interact with data from a SQL database, from Excel, from an Access database, from a website. You can also interact with data from Dynamics 365. As long as you have a data source, you can interact with the data and you start having reporting capabilities like this. So again, what's important here for you to know is if an organization is struggling either with reporting, you now start looking, how do we introduce a tool like this, Power BI? So a SQL database here can be on the cloud or it can be on premise. So you decide, okay, this is where the data is. We're gonna go and fetch the data. We're gonna surface a report. So again, start talking about getting data. So you can look at Microsoft Azure, so which is the cloud platform where you can start looking at data. You have Salesforce, Facebook, Google Analytics. There's loads of these things where you can get your data from. So in some cases, you can look at Amazon as an example. You can surface data on Amazon in regards to a specific product. So you don't need to be working for Amazon. You have your Power BI dashboard, connect to Amazon, start looking at some of the products there. You can say, okay, you want to see how many of these products are being sold in a day or in a month. You can start doing this without you working for Amazon by just using Power BI. So again, it helps organization either to look at their competitors to say, okay, let's have a look at how many people are looking at this specific product on Amazon. In some cases, for those of you who follow either Formula One or football, you can go to their main websites for the Premier League, UEFA, whatever footballing website it is. You can connect into it, and you can also start doing your own analysis about a specific football player, specific football team, the goals they've scored. In terms of car racing, you can look at the times the car driver is done over a specific amount of time, whether days or races. Start breaking down the data. That's what they use in terms of, for example, Formula One, they use Amazon Analytics. So they analyze the car data, and that's what helps them to be more competitive. So it helps them to be more strategic to say, okay, this is the data we're getting. That's why we need to improve. So that's why you see some of the cars are faster than the other. It's not just engineering in itself. The key element is analyzing the data. So within Power BI editor, so if you have Power BI, this is what it will look like. So you can start looking at the dashboard. So with Power BI itself, you have dashboard. It is available on mobile devices. It is available. You can actually install it on your local computer. You can also access it online without having to download anything. So in terms of Power BI itself, you can have dashboards like this, and you can integrate them into Dynamics 365. So you can be a data analyst, you create a dashboard, you work with someone in Dynamics 365 to have this showing in Dynamics 365, not outside. So in terms of this, we spoke about tables in Dynamics 365, like opportunity records. We spoke about account records. You can create a dashboard, then surface the data within that system. So again, you can create your reports on a desktop from your mobile device and service that's the online version of it. Again, you have lots of opportunity to kind of play around with these things. So for those of you who are keen on this, I'll show you as we go along on how you can actually do that. So in here, this is an overview of Power BI. So you can start seeing how things are broken down and how you can put some of these visualizations in to just make it cool, to make sure it's clear, it's straight to the message. In some cases, an organization might ask you to have company branding to it. So once you have company branding to it, again, you're bringing value to the organization yourself. So again, there's a lot of whole things you can do in here. So the organization, they're interested in the numbers, and once the visual is like this, straight away, it appeals to people. Mostly you look at it straight away, people are interested, but you can only think, oh, what we are seeing in here, these numbers, if they've been written in text, there's no visuals to it, it's just long text. The first thing is that needs to be updated. The next thing, it's what you need to have there. It's people, in some cases, when we talk about reporting, people are not really keen in terms of in terms of reading just text in terms of reporting wise. Again, we talk about fetching data, looking at the data, start building some models, start building some dashboards. Again, there's not a lot of effort required in doing all this. So again, if you can see here, you can download Power BI for free, powerbi.com. For those of you on a Windows device, you can go in the Windows Store, you download it. Once you create your reports, people can start visualizing them. People can actually look at these reports and you can publish them. So once you do that, you can then publish it. You can share with others within your organization. You can collaborate. For example, if you have a global organization or an organization with different offices, start looking at the sales data as an example here. Start looking at the performance of the organization. So once you have that, it's an opportunity for you to create a job. That's the key thing here. The key thing is for you to learn it, master it, create a job for yourself. So one of the things I can tell you in terms of Power BI or in terms of the Power Platform as a whole, once you learn it, you understand it, experience you have does not matter. What matters is you know what you're doing, you know what you're talking about. So the experience things about it on the side, it's about you. Can you do something? Can you achieve it? So we then go in here. So in here, the online version of Power BI, it's SaaS. Does anyone know what SAS stands for? If someone can unmute themselves or just type in the chat window what it stands for.
Software service.
Yep, awesome. So Power BI online version, I'm sure you all had it, software as a service. So it is based on the cloud. You can create your 1,000 reports. This is what it looks like. There is feature differences between the one you can download to your machine and the one on the cloud. However, you can synchronize your data from the one you have on your computer to the cloud service. You have a bit more things you can do with the Power BI online than the one which you can use in a local machine. So in here, we then look at Power BI on a mobile device. So if you can see here, the main devices here are listed. So you can start looking at data from these devices. So as long as Android, Windows, iOS, Apple devices, you can start visualizing data from there. So the next thing here, what I'm looking to do is to involve everyone on the call. So we're gonna ask, we spoke about Microsoft Learn on our last meeting. So for all of you on the call, if any one of you can share what you have seen so far, it doesn't need to be an expert level, just the basic stuff you have seen on Microsoft Learn. Don't be shy, anything is welcome. So if you have anything, please feel free to unmute yourself and share those experiences. Anyone? Has anyone actually looked at Microsoft Learn? I think that could be a good starting point. Are we still here?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I take it no one has looked at Microsoft Learn, right? So as a starting point, I will go back to that. So we'll kind of give this a pause now while we go back to Microsoft Learn. So I'm going to bring Microsoft Learn to the picture. One of the things I need to emphasize to you guys, if you go to Microsoft Learn, you won't go wrong. Everything you need is on Microsoft Learn. So I'm going to bring Microsoft Learn here. This is the site. So I'll post it again in the chat window, and I can promise you on the next session, I will also ask exactly the same question if anyone has just looked at it. I'm not saying go onto it, start doing advanced things, just clicking the link just to see what's there. That's all what's important here. Reason being is in some cases, these sessions here, they're mainly an hour, 30 minutes in some cases. But if you don't push yourself to see what's involved here, in some cases it doesn't sink in. It can become over complex. You can get overwhelmed with it. So here with Microsoft Learn, everything you need, I'll say it again, it is for free. You don't pay any single penny for this. You learn at your own pace. If you see in here, if you enjoy finance and operations, 7 hours of free training you can do. There's lots of them. So you just basically choose the track you want to learn. So start teaching yourself, talking about managing Dynamics 365, model-driven app settings and security. And in terms of Power Platform, you can just basically come in here and select Power Platform. So in here, I've selected the wrong one, so I need to go back a step. So Power Platform, here it is. Again, start looking, these are things about Power BI. So you start learning Power BI. If you keep scrolling down, Power BI might not be your thing. Maybe you just want to go on the Power Platform, introduction to it, introduction to database, introduction to Power Apps. It tells you what it is. So I can give 210% to make sure I help everyone here. But this is also something which also helps you to take you to the next level. If you don't come in here, in some cases, you might not be comfortable to ask questions on the call. So in some cases, you can come here, look at it yourself, and you can pick it up from there. And then you might come back to the session and say, oh, I was looking at this. I'm not too sure what it stands for, what it means, what I can do with it. And then we can start having a conversation. So this is Microsoft Learn. I've shared the link in the in the chat window. And as part of your homework now, I just want all of you to just go to this side. I'm not saying start sitting down, listening to it. Just look at what's there. If you decide to learn something, even better. But the first starting point, just come and have a look in here and see what is it all about. In some cases, you also have the option here to select the type of job you're looking for. So you see all these jobs here. It tells you if you want to be an administrator. If you click in here, it tells you the administrator jobs available. So in most cases, if you're talking about administrator, you're talking about Microsoft Azure. If you start seeing finance and operations appears in here. So again, it's quite a lot of things for you to look into. So in our next call, I'll take the list down of the attendees on this call, and then we can have a conversation just to see what you saw on it. I'm not asking you to go and look at the advanced stuff, just to see with your eyes what is there. Has everyone got the link to this side?
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone else? Is everyone else still here? Emmanuel keeps kindly answering to us.
Yes.
We appreciate it. Everyone else still here, right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Guys, if you're not, if the information is too much, please feel free to say. We can more or less take a slow approach to it. But if you don't say, I'll just take it as if we're okay with it. So please do not shy away to just say, look, it's a bit too much information. Let's take it a bit step slow. More than happy to do that. But if you don't ask, I'll just carry on. And then eventually you think, okay, yeah, that was a waste of a session. There was no point. So Microsoft Learn is here. So this is a free area. So one of the things which I'm also going to give you to be using. So we're going to be using this as we go along. So it will be important for you to sign up to this. So this is a free course about Microsoft Power Platform. So you start for free. It gives you a step-by-step guide on how to create an app. Again, you do not need a credit card or a bank card for you to sign up. All it will just ask you is for an email address and for a password. And what do you get after it? You start learning from it. So we have Mobalaji. Mobalaji is on the call. Mobalaji has been on this training course, and she can tell you she was able to create an app without anyone telling her to say, do this, do that. So again, this here is very, very important. In some cases, we speak about columns, we speak about tables, we speak about some of the components involved, Power Automate. So once you go through this course here, it makes life easier for you. So again, it is for free. You're not being charged anything. It's there for you to learn. It's there for you to upskill yourself. So it's a skill you gain from this, and you can start again feeling more confident and start looking at other things to get even more advanced. So I'll share this link in here. in the chat window. That's for you to use. So the next question here, it's an honest question. Please do not be scared. Do not be shy to answer. How many of you are looking to take this further? How many of you would say, okay, yeah, that's interesting. I'm going to give it a go. If it's not interesting, again, there's nothing wrong in saying so. It's always good to do something which interests you. So for those who find it interesting, if I can just have some yeses in the chat window. Okay, so we have 2 people, 3 people now. Go 4. Okay, great. Awesome. So thank you so much for those who have replied back. So one of the things I'm going to give you here is the present. So here is Microsoft Power Platform Virtual Training Day. So this is a training by Microsoft. They'll train you between 10 to 1:15 UK time. And within that space of time, you'll be able to understand all these things here. And once you go to that training session, you also get a free exam voucher here. They give you the exam voucher for free. Once you do the training, this training is on the 15th of April. So they'll give you 3 months from this date to do the exam. So they give it to you for free. What will happen is when you register, the email you register with, they'll connect it with the exam voucher. So this is something here you can have. You can share this with your colleagues who are not on the call, who might be interested. So of course, we have the 15th of April. It might not be convenient for everyone. So the other option you have is in 27th of May. So 27th of May, you have exactly the same event. So even if you attend the first one and you find it not really clear, you're more than welcome to come back and join in again. They won't stop you. You still get another exam voucher as well. That's the benefit of it. So the exam voucher will be only connected to your email address, so you can actually pass it on to someone. So here is the link again. So why is it important for me to share all these things? Just to show you the opportunity which is there. There's such a huge opportunity, a high demand for these roles. So I can give you an example. You can be anywhere on the planet. There's a demand for this use. So I can give you an example. Back in February this year, I had an event which was focused on the continent of Africa. So we trained about 251 people out of the continent, people who signed up. And after the event, we had organizations in Rwanda, in Ghana, emailing us asking, okay, can we have some names of the people you trained? We're actually recruiting for these jobs. So again, you're not just limited in terms of those areas. You can basically work anywhere because this is also classed as a high qualification job. So you learn it in a good example in the United States. This training course gives you a university credit. So if you're for those of you at college, for those at college in America, they actually get a university qualification for it. So again, some of the examples of the demand for this skill. So this is for you to take away. In terms of what I've gone through so far with the slides, has anyone got any questions so far? If there's no questions, if I could ask the privilege to also ask questions, if there's no questions, just to make sure we are all okay. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to carry on with the slides. And so someone asked, which aspect of dynamics are we learning, please? Okay, so in here, we're learning at the Power Platform, how it fits in with the dynamics. So dynamics and Power Platform, they both work alongside each other. Dynamics is a model-driven app. Then with the Power Platform, you also have Canvas apps. Canvas apps can also be integrated in Dynamics 365. So I hope that answers the question. If not, kindly let me know and I can try again to answer that. Okay, awesome. Thank you. So any other questions, anyone so far? So the next part we're going on.
Sorry, I've got a question.
Sure, go ahead.
So I just wanted to find out if the Power Apps can be deployed on, say, Netlify or Oracle.
So Power Apps, they can be created and they can connect on Oracle. That's for sure. They can use Oracle as the data source. What's the other system you mentioned?
Netlify. So it's like hosting environments where you can host your application or your website.
So in terms of the website itself, what would be the website doing?
So because from my understanding, I thought Power Apps is like the way you create normal apps where you can share the webs. If you host it on Netlify, that means you will have HTTP address you can share with people.
Yep. So you can do that here. So let me just show you what you can do that as a website. So we just go back a few slides back to Power Apps portals. So here it gives you a website address. So if you can see, there's now a website address. So with Power Apps portals, yes, it gives you a website address. So you need to be within the Power Apps portals area.
Okay. So that's address you can share it with people.
Yeah, you can
so
share it with anyone. They'll be able to. So it gives you an HTTPS address.
So you don't need to host it on any other. Okay.
No, it will be hosted here.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Yep, not a problem. So going to Power Automate. So how many of you here use Twitter?
I do.
Yeah, anyone else who uses Twitter? Yeah, okay, great. Anyone else? So far we have 2 people. Anyone else on Twitter? So reason for asking here, I'm not going to ask to say I'm gonna follow you. I just wanna show you something, how you can use Power Automate with Twitter. So for those of you who said they use Twitter, do you have access to Twitter right now?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So let me just open something and I'm gonna show you how this thing works. So office.com. Which account is this? Okay, just sign off this one. I'm gonna bring this to the screen shortly so you can see it. Sign in. Then let's use this account. So here, this is going to be a demo. This is going to be a live demo. So for those of you on Twitter, I'm gonna ask you to do something shortly. So in here, within your Office 365. So if I go on all apps, you have Power Automate here. So basically what I'm going to demonstrate here, it's if someone sends a tweet with a specific word, I'll automatically retweet it without me clicking Twitter. So in here, I'm going to create a new one. So I'm creating it, so while you see, and I'm gonna show you how simple it is. So within 2 minutes, we should be done. So in here, we're gonna give our flow a name. So this is Power Automate. We're gonna give this a name. So in here, we're gonna give this name Blue Sky Demo. And then it searches for trigger. What's going to trigger it? So here the trigger is Twitter. So if you say Twitter in here, when a new tweet is posted, then I'll create. So in here, it's asking me for use default shared application. So it wants me to sign in. So I'm gonna sign in into my Twitter account here. So it just looking for it. Okay, perfect. So now it asks me for my Twitter password. I've authorized the app here and I've saved it here. So the connection is now there. So in here, it's telling me when a new tweet is posted, right? So in here, we're gonna type something like this. Blue Sky Citadel. And then we are going to copy this text here. And for those of you who say they use Twitter, I'm gonna share this with you in a second. So this is what we are looking for on Twitter. So anything posted with this, I want to retweet it. So again, in here, it's now asking me for the action. So again, the action in here, if I put tweet again, I want to retweet it. So again, if you see in here, post a retweet. So I select this and tweet to be retweeted. I'll just put in here to ask me for the tweet ID. So here, this is dynamic content. I put it in here, and trim user, you can say no. In here, I'm gonna leave it as a no. So that's a very basic one. For those of you who said they are on Twitter, right? Can you go on Twitter and just write something on Twitter and put that hashtag, and then you can delete the tweet afterwards. So in here, I've saved my tweet and I'm going to test it. So I'm gonna say manually, and then I'll test it. So basically, I'm just testing it just to see it works. So for those of you who say they have Twitter, if you just type that, once this sees it, it starts running, and then I'll then go to my Twitter account and you see the retweet would have been done without me actually doing retweet on Twitter. So I could be sleeping. If you have something like that, it automatically says it. So for those of you on Twitter, once you've done that, if you could let me know. If not, we can see it on the screen anyway that is done or not.
What should we do? Sorry.
So it's hashtag Blue Sky Citadel.
Okay.
So this here on the screen here. So again, you can see in the background here, nothing has happened because it hasn't seen anything, because we're testing it, because it hasn't seen anything, so nothing will happen. So you can just basically just type in the hashtag in itself, or just say test and hashtag Blue Sky Citadel.
Mhm.
Anyone else volunteering to do it as well? Have you managed to do it, Emmanuel?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm kind of not getting my head around it.
Okay, so basically just go on Twitter and you just post this hashtag here, hashtag Blue Sky Citadel, that's it.
Okay, I should not go to the Blue Sky Citadel website itself on
Oh,
Twitter.
no, just on Twitter.
They're on
So-
Twitter.
Yeah, just on Twitter, if you just put this on there.
What should I put? Just show me, please.
If you can see it on the screen here, it's hashtag Blue Sky Citadel.
Hashtag. Blue Sky Citadel.
Alex, I think you are not showing the right screen, isn't it? Or are you?
You're not showing the right screen. Nothing is showing on your screen.
You are showing the Power Automate one. Is that
Okay,
the right one?
awesome. Yeah, so
Okay,
someone
stop.
posted something because it's now run successfully.
I did.
Yeah, awesome.
That's
so
me.
Okay, awesome. So we're gonna go to Twitter and you're gonna see your tweets would have been retweeted automatically without me doing it. So in here, you can see we have one here retweeted 40 seconds ago, and it's been automatically done without me doing it. So if someone else does it as well, our Power Automate will automatically run it itself. So I don't need to test it anymore. So if someone does it now, it automatically do it. So if you see in here, it's failed. So you can come in here and open it to tell you why it's failed. So it's tried to retweet the same tweet and it's failed. So you can open it in here and it tells you the code here, exactly what the problem is. So if I go back to it again and just refresh it, yeah, we still have one retweet here. So if someone posts it again, so basically what an organization can do, that's the basic stuff we can do here. So they can look at someone using this hashtag, and then you can use your Power Automate to then create a record in Dynamics 365. So again, you can basically simply go in here, and then this is the action here. This is the trigger. So you can basically go in here, basically delete this, and then you can put a new step in here. So again, it's asking you, what do you want to do? There's a new tweet posted. We've put what we are looking for here. So in here again, you can see Dynamics 365. There it is. So if you select in here, it tells you this now is now deprecated. So there's a new functionality coming for it. However, you can still use it. So again, in here, you select that, and then it will ask me for a Dynamics organization to connect to. So again, I'm gonna connect to this environment here. It's now asking me what is the entity I'm connecting to. So here, I'm going to select contacts. So contacts should be almost here. Here we are. So I've selected contacts, and what you're seeing in here, this is the data expected within Dynamics 365. So if you can see, there's so much information here needed. And what you need to remember is you're not going to get all this information from Twitter. So what you can do here, you can look, for example, at the last name. So in here, you then put the name of the user. So can you see here is dynamic content. So if I say name, that's a required field. And then if you see all the other fields, they're not required. So why this is so important for an organization is they just basically go and connect on social media, look at the names of their products, look at people with a specific skill set, for example, LinkedIn, it looks at them, and then you can trigger this manually as well, by the way. So it doesn't necessarily have to be triggered automatically. You can go and run it yourself. It goes and looks on Twitter, So what will happen here, this will go and create a contact record in Dynamics 365. What is the point? So what then happens here, you have either your sales team or you have your data analyst teams. Basically what then happens here, you then have Power BI, which you spoke about earlier. So with Power BI, you now have the visualization of contacts created from Twitter, from Facebook, from Instagram. Start analyzing the data. Is there something an organization can do to reach out to that audience? So in some cases, this has been created from Twitter. The next question is, are we able to identify the user on LinkedIn? Are we able to identify the person who's tweeted this on a different platform? Put the data together straight away. You can now start, where there's marketing, you now start knowing, okay, this is what I can do. So again, that's another use case here you have. So when you post things on Twitter, in some cases, there's organizations hiding in the background, looking to see what you're saying. So in some cases, it doesn't necessarily have to be in English, it can be in a different language. So organization can configure these things in the background. In this use case, this could be yourself actually designing this thing here. So if you see, for example, what I have in here, I'll just show you. I'm not going to save this because it will just keep sending things. Just keep sending and repeating things. So I'm going to show you a different example. So in here, I'm going to go to a different environment and show you something different as well, which is something I've currently set up, which is currently working. So you can have a feel of the use case here. So you can imagine how long it takes, for example, if you're looking for a specific hashtag and you're retweeting, or you want to get the data and then you want to send it to Dynamics 365 as an example. So if I just approve this authentication here, should allow me in. Yep, awesome. So what we have here, you have my flows. So what I do myself is I look at websites. So I look at mainly the Microsoft websites. So I look at the Power Apps social media post. So what I have here, I'm going to edit this flow here so you see what it does. So in here, I'm looking at a feed for an item. So I'll go in here. This is the website I'm basically looking at. And I'm looking at the publish date. So I want the latest article they publish. Once they publish something, what it does, it automatically sends this and creates a tweet for me. So it picks the feed title, it takes the link of the feed, and I've put hashtags in here. So if you go back to Twitter, I can show you an example of this thing here. I did not post this. That Power Automate has done it for me. So I could be working, I could be sleeping, it doesn't matter what time they post, it automatically just takes it. And if you can see these hashtags here, they are exactly the same in here. So it does it for me. So it posts it to Twitter. It also looks at LinkedIn. So if you see in here, this is what it's looking at. The primary feed of the link is visible to anyone. And if I see advanced option, you're now picking the feed title. In here in the body, again, I put the feed title, the link, and you see the hashtags. So basically here, you are getting to your audience by automating this process. So you can imagine the amount of effort I need to go to keep looking at this website and to post it. In some cases, it could be 2 or 3 days later and I'm copying a link to post it. Someone who could have posted it. So this is a very basic use case of Power Automate. So for all of you who have, like I said, Office 365 license you use for Microsoft Excel or Word, you automatically get this as well nowadays. So you can start automating some of the things you do in your day-to-day job, or even in life in itself. You can set reminders so it pops up something on your phone. So again, you just basically come in here. So if you're not so sure of where to get started with something like this, the key thing here, what you can do is you can go in here and look at templates. So there's some of them already made for you. So if you're not so sure, if you can see here, there's thousands of them. You can basically decide which one you want to use. So again, you can start off with a template, start looking at it, and at the same time, you have sections in here. So again, you can look at events notification, get daily reminders from your Outlook.com email. So if there's a specific task you need to do, or there's a task you need to keep an eye on, this helps you to do it. So again, you don't need to be an expert with it. Once you start with these basic ones, it gives you an indication of what more other things can you do. So on that note, do we have any questions in regards to Power Automate? How many of you are looking for to create a flow, by the way? How many of you are looking to kind of create something and start seeing it working? How many?
On.
Okay, awesome. Anyone else?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, if you have an office license, great, you can get started here. If you don't have an office license, once you sign up to the step-by-step training course for Power Apps, it also gives you the license. And once it gives you the license, one thing you need to keep in mind is, as long as you're using it for educational purposes, the use of that will be forever. So initially they'll give you 3 months, and then because you're learning into it, as long as you keep using it to learn, they just keep extending it for you. You don't need to email anyone, they automatically extend it for you. So just to reduce the overload, what I want to do is to give you the opportunity to ask any questions you might have, or things you might want me to cover in these sessions. So in some cases, we can tailor the sessions to what you're looking to see and give you some demos where possible.
Sorry, just a quick question. So which of the, you said to have a free license, we need to sign up to, is it for the one for the 15 and the 27, the training?
So to have the free license, you need to sign up to this. So this here will help you to set up your own environment. So
Okay.
someone asked, do I need a Microsoft account to do it? No, it can be any account. So you can use any account, Gmail, any email provider. So what you get from that, it gives you access to the Power Platform, Power Apps, gives you access to Microsoft Teams, gives you access to Power BI. So you then decide what area do you need to learn at. So that way you are learning, you're coming to these sessions with questions. That would be nice if you have some questions. And at the same time, you kind of have the picture to say, okay, this is what's happening.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, not a problem. Yeah, anyone else, guys, please feel free to unmute yourself and let's talk. Any other questions from anyone? So if there's no further questions, please do not forget the homework for the next session, to have a look at what Microsoft Learn is. So I'll be so happy. It will make me so happy on the next session on Tuesday to know you've gone onto it, and then we can start expanding on what we are going through in these sessions. I really want to see you guys go onto these sites to have a look at it. Appreciate this could not be for everyone. Some people might not finding it interesting. It's normal. There's nothing not normal with that. Some of you will find it interesting, which is great. Again, just that choice we have. If it's interesting, great. If it's not, again, the opportunity to learn and to pick it up is here. And you can always reach out to the admin team if you need a bit more explanation. And then we can explain to you a bit more to help you get started or to help you learn the technology as well. So if there's no further questions, we'll carry on the next session. We're going to cover, let me just see what we're going to cover on the next session. So we're going here. So in here, we'll cover that. We've shown you that. So we're gonna go on Power Virtual Agents. That's the next thing we'll be talking about on the next session. The first 30 minutes of that session will be to discuss Microsoft Learn and also to have some of your questions. Then we start building on more knowledge and we take it from there. So have a good weekend to everyone and let's keep learning. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.